Hi and welcome back to my channel. As you can see, I'm out for a little walk, and this time I'm walking from Loch Ossian in the Scottish Highlands to Dalwhinnie. I think it's 24 miles and I plan to stay overnight in a bothy which is called Ben Alder Cottage. I might stay 1 or 2 nights in the bothy because tomorrow the weather is supposed to be horrendous and I don't really want to walk in that. So I was thinking maybe tomorrow just to stay at the bothy, relax, maybe have a swim in the Loch Ericht. So the bothy is directly next to Loch Ericht, and to just walk around and enjoy the autumn colors because they are really beautiful right now. So the reason why I'm out in the wild again is that I just finished my touring season. So if you didn't know, I work as a tour guide, mainly for coach tours all around Scotland, and it's October now, so the season is slowly coming to an end, and I just finished my last tour 3 days ago. And I finished on a high. It was a beautiful tour. My last tour was just amazing. Nothing went to plan, but we all just had the best time. The group was fantastic. The landscape was beautiful. My driver was fabulous, and yeah, I couldn't have wished for a better ending. But now it's over, and I don't think I will start working again until March. It's a seasonal job, and I don't really know what to do with myself right now over winter. And instead of dealing with that dilemma, I decided to do the usual, which is to escape. So this is why I'm out and about right now. So the last 2 nights I stayed at the Loch Ossian Youth Hostel. I stayed there many years ago, and I always enjoy going there. And I met people there from all over the world, and we had a really good time together. We shared a lot of stories. We shared a lot of wine and some whiskey. And I left this morning, and now I'm on my way to Ben Alder Cottage. And I can't wait to show you this bothy. It's one of my most favorite bothies in Scotland. It has a very special place in my heart, and I can't wait to return to it. So yeah, I hope you enjoy this video. I hope you enjoy this walk. And as usual, I will see you on the trail.
There's a push and there's a pull. There's a moon and then it's full. The tide will rise.
I was very much looking forward to this little escape, especially as I've been to this part of Scotland before and have very fond memories of it. For the first half of the trail, I followed the meandering river, which took me through the most picturesque valley and gave me a view of arguably one of the most beautifully shaped mountain passes there is. The path was mostly clear and dry, with just some minor exceptions. But well, what would a hike in the Scottish Highlands be without a proper bog? Wet feet or it didn't happen.
Every spring leads to a fall. There's a heart in every home. The young will always wish that they were older. And there's a rhythm to it all. There's a you and there's a me. There's a pattern in the chaos, a current in the sea. And every time I wish I had a mountain top to see the rhythm of it all.
I almost stepped on this little frog. The path that I was following since Loch Ossian is slowly fading, and now I need to connect to an upper path that will lead me to the bothy. Let's see how it goes, because officially there's no path that would connect those two. Even on my maps, there's no path or no trek. In front of me there's something that looks like people used it to connect to the upper one, so I think I will try that. Let's see how it goes. So I need to connect to this upper path here that will lead me to the bothy over this top into the fog. And this here looks like it could be some kind of path. I'm not sure. Let's give it a try. I have no better option right now. And yeah, but first I need to cross this river. So let's find a place where we can do that. Can you believe this? This really makes me angry. I think I will try it here. I think I will go this way and then try to reach the other side here. I've made it to the other side, and now I will just connect to this. And I'm really questioning where I'm heading into. Look at this fog. I made it to the upper track, but following this supposed path up the hill turned out to be one of the least clever ideas I could have had. It wasn't a path, but a strip of light-colored vegetation caused by a stream rushing below, and one wrong step could have sent me sliding down who knows how deep. In future, I really must learn to read the landscape better.
Will be forgotten, and there's a use for the broken things you've lost.
I soaked in all the views over the hills and valleys, and after picking up some useless litter, I was greeted by countless deers. It was the height of their rutting season, and for the rest of the day I heard nothing but stag roars everywhere. I'll show you. Let's just be still for a moment and listen carefully. The day was slowly coming to an end, and so it was time to cross some last rivers and to make my way down to the Bothy. Just a few more steps before she would be in sight, and there she was, my dear old friend Ben Alder Cottage. You won't believe it, but I slept for 10 hours straight on my first night in the Bothy. But hey, I'm not complaining. I decided not to continue my walk to Dalwhinnie that day as the wind was slowly picking up and was expected to reach full strength in the afternoon. Instead, I opted for another night at the Bothy, so I could soak in all the surroundings and submerge myself in this place rather than just traversing it. To be completely alone in a wild place like this is something that just can't be replaced, especially after a long summer season of working with so many tourists. I love my job, but still, moments like this are what I often crave. Just the trees, the water, the hills, and me. A form of connection that needs no words and that is available to anyone who allows themselves to be part of it. Let's see how much longer I'll be on my own though, because I definitely spotted some fellow hikers at the Bothy.
It's a beautiful fire, yeah.
Glowing, radiant.
Fully made up.
I ate 6 eggs.
Bad for the other 30 kilos and stuff. So it wasn't bad. No, this wasn't.
The moon was still high in the sky when I packed my bag and stepped outside, and I couldn't leave without snapping a photo in front of those now familiar walls. A final look at our Bothy, then it was time to hit the road and head for Dalwhinnie. For the first 2 hours or so, I had to retrace my steps uphill, but instead of turning left back to Loch Ossian, I would now follow the track to the right over Bearlachdu, the beautiful mountain pass we had seen 2 days earlier. The wind was strong and the clouds moved fast, but that made all those views even more spectacular. Unfortunately, I found another deflated balloon. It seems that someone celebrated their birthday around here, probably in the Bothy, and while carrying the litter back into civilization, it must have flown off. Still, the sight of it made me very sad. You'd think you're in the complete wilderness, far away from everything, yet traces of our waste manage to make their way even into the most remote parts of Scotland. We need to protect these wild places, so let's remember the Scottish Outdoor Access Code and always leave no trace. I couldn't believe how stunning the landscape was as it unfolded around me. There's another path from Ben Alder Cottage to Dalwhinnie that follows the shores of Loch Ossian. I hiked that route a few years ago, and while it was pleasant, today's trek over the pass, well, it was truly something else. It felt like walking through Middle Earth from Lord of the Rings, and the sense of remoteness was indescribable. If the conditions are right, I definitely choose the route over the pass again. I slowly descended into the valley and followed the river to Corrour Bothy. Unfortunately, it's closed since 2014 due to asbestos, and as far as I know, it will not be reopened. I decided to stop for a snack and keep the lonely Bothy some company. A lovely excuse to stop for a break, isn't it? The last check of the map, and then it's time to tackle the last few miles to Dalwhinnie. Did I mention that I have to catch a train to Aberdeen? Well, we'd better get going. Well, what a beautiful walk this has been. Behind me is Loch Ossian, and I'm just following the road to Dalwhinnie. It's always annoying when a really nice trek finishes with just following the road. It's very tiring for the feet and it does very little for the soul. But I had a glorious day. Well, actually I had 4 really beautiful days. So if it's just this last bit, then it's okay. I can deal with that. I left Ben Alder Cottage this morning and I had a really nice night. I thought I would be alone, but actually 6 other people arrived just before the big rain and wind started. And yeah, we had a really nice time. We lit the fire and it was very cozy and warm in the Bothy. And everybody today left to either go home or to continue somewhere into the wilderness. Yeah, and I told you in the beginning of this video that Ben Alder Cottage actually has a very special place in my heart, and it's because it was the first Bothy I ever stayed in. It was 2019, I was 26 years old, I just moved to Scotland, I just started a new job, I just graduated from university. I even think I was heartbroken at the time, and I just felt that I need to do something on my own. And I've never done a solo hike before. I hiked before and I camped before, but never alone. And I never stayed in a bothy before. I didn't even know what it was, and then I read about them and I just thought, yes, this is what I need to do, this is where I need to go. I want to prove myself that I can stay in a place like that on my own. And then I found Ben Alder Cottage. I even think it's supposed to be the most haunted bothy in Scotland, and I thought, yes, this is the right thing to do for me. And so I took the train to Corrour station. I stayed for 2 nights in the Loch Ossian youth hostel, the same hostel where I stayed just a couple of days ago. I climbed my first Monroe there. I think back then I didn't even know properly what a Monroe was, but anyways, I climbed my first Monroe, and then the day after I left to go to Ben Alder Cottage. And I remember it was very warm and sunny. It was just the most beautiful day, and I really enjoyed my walk, and I felt very proud of myself to do that on my own. And then I saw Ben Alder Cottage from the distance, and I thought, yes, finally I reached it. The bothy has come for the rescue, and soon I will be at my destination, and soon I can take a rest. But then when I got closer and I knew the moment has come to actually open the door, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know how it will look in the inside. I didn't know if somebody will be there, or I didn't know if I will be on my own. I didn't know how it feels. As I said, I've never stayed in a bothy before. And then I finally reached the door, and it was time to push the handle. And yeah, that moment was very scary. It was very exciting, but also very scary at the same time. And I opened the door, and it was just very dark inside. And yeah, I felt a bit of a shiver maybe. And but after a while, I just thought, yes, I did it. I arrived on my own, and this is it. This is where I will spend the night. And I hope it won't take years again to pass until I visit my dear old friend Ben Alder Cottage. Yeah, so now I have to go to Dalwhinnie, and I have to stop talking now actually, because my train is in an hour, I think, and I still have to cover maybe 4 or 5 kilometers. So I hope I will catch the train to Aberdeen. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this walk. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I can't wait to see you in the next one. Bye. These last few days couldn't have been better, and as I take in the final views of Loch Ericht, my thoughts turn once more to Ben Alder Cottage, the bothy that will always hold a special meaning for me. Spending the night there as a 26-year young woman made me feel like I can conquer the world. And now, returning feels like reconnecting with an old friend. Sitting by the fire and reflecting on the adventures that have been and those yet to come. But above all, it will always be the place that made me feel like I can achieve anything I set my mind to. Sometimes it's good to remember that.